On everybody, this is Corey Lee's Boxing, and we are back with another banger. So please smash that like button, you guys, and subscribe. And yeah, man, I wanted to go live, man. I gotta go live. I gotta talk about this, man. Rashidi Ellis versus Jaron Boots Ennis, man. It's heating up a little bit, man. I can see a future rivalry between these two. You know, if you guys didn't watch the press conference earlier today, they both exchanged. They had a little. They had words. They had words. They were both undefeated. Young lions, and no somebody's O has got to go. You know what I'm saying? Somebody's O has got to go. Smash that like button as soon as you guys come in, man. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys, man. The more I think about it, this is a really good matchup, man. Rashidi Ellis was stuck with Golden Boy Promotions for a little while, so he wasn't able to, get the big fights that he wanted, and he feels like, he wasn't, I guess he wasn't, he wasn't getting paid what he was worth. He feels like he should have got paid maybe a little bit more money than what he was getting paid, which I understand. I fully understand. I feel like he should have got paid more money too. You need to get paid what you're worth. And I feel like right now, man, Rashidi Ellis versus Jaron Boots Ennis could possibly be an awesome, awesome matchup, man. Like I said, man, these guys are both undefeated. They're both young. They're both hungry. And they're both on the same card of Javante Tank Davis this weekend in my city, D.C., man. So, pretty close to where I grew up at, man. And, it's coming to D.C., man. Corey Lee Boxing will be there. And it's gonna be an awesome atmosphere, man. Jaron Boots Ennis and Rashidi Ellis both fight on the card. They got history, I believe, and Rashidi Ellis, he's coming from the Ellis brothers and stuff like that, and Rashidi Ellis is. I can tell by the way by the way they exchange words. Rashidi Ellis got out of character first. I feel like uh Jaron Boots Ennis was kind of not antagonizing, but kind of poking at the bear a little bit, leaning his seat back and saying, we can go right now. At the exact words, he was like, we could go right now. So him saying that, man, I just really thought that, that had Rashidi Ellis turned up a little bit. And I feel like Rashid Ellis, he was just like, don't do that to me. I'm not one of them other guys. Don't talk to me like that. You know what I mean? And stop playing with me. Pretty much, I believe that's what he said. Don't play with me like that. But I seen the aggression in his face and his voice change, and pretty much Jaron Boots Ennis started laughing and said, I already got in his head already. I'm already in his head already. So he feels like he's already winning this, this type of, war, this type of, build up to this fight. I feel like they're going to make this fight. I feel like PBC is definitely going to make this fight. Rashidi Ellis just coming over to the PBC from Golden Boy and getting out of the shackles of Oscar De La Hoya. And I feel like he holds some of his fighters back, man. He gets Virgil Ortiz, plenty of fight dates, and he gets, Jaime Munguia pretty active. But Rashidi Ellis, being an African American fighter, I didn't feel like he didn't get him enough fight dates. He wasn't active enough. He wasn't fighting the key fights that we wanted to see. He wasn't getting the job done. Rashidi Ellis was doing his job on his end with beating everybody they put in front of him, but Oscar De La Hoya didn't give him the right fighters to put in front of him, I feel like. Rashidi Ellis beat everybody that they put in front of him, but I feel like Oscar De La Hoya could have put better opposition in front of him. As far as, Jaron Boots Ennis goes, he's fighting this weekend, and he's fighting a guy named Karen, from the Ukraine. And I believe he has one loss. I'm not sure. I believe he's like 19-1. if I'm not mistaken. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce his last name. I don't know his last name. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I have no clue what his last name is. Um, Charles D, what's good, man? How's everything going, man? This Jaron Boots Ennis versus Rashidi Ellis is heating up, man. I'm kind of turned up about that joint, Charles D, for real, man. I think that that'll be a good fight. I really do. I think both of these guys are really good fighters, man. I really do. I really think both of these guys are good fighters. I believe they can both get the job done against, top level. But we gotta see, because that top level different. He says, Charles D says, I'm at work. I seen the press conference. Solid fight. Yeah, it's a really good fight. And I just feel like, I feel like it can happen. And, Jerron Boots Ennis said we could have been fighting, because I think one of the reporters asked, because it was so crazy, you guys, that both Rashidi Ellis and Jerron Boots Ennis, not only are they in the same weight class, they're on the same card, okay? And I believe they have a little bit of history already between each other, and you sit them right beside each other. So I feel like once you sat them right beside each other, a little bit changed, like a lot changed, I feel like, and one of the reporters asked Jaron Boots Ennis, what about fighting? Oh, Brian Custer said, the guy beside you is, pretty much, gunning for you or coming for you or whatever. And, Jaron Boots Ennis said we could have got this fight made already. He knows. And then, Rashidi Ellis was just like, don't do that, pretty much the money wasn't right. He said the money wasn't right. Rashidi Ellis said the money wasn't right. So if PBC's not backing the fighters and they not putting enough money up, then the fighters is not gonna take the fight. This is prize fighting. They're not in the amateurs anymore. Rashidi Ellis is in the professional game. Jaron Boots Ennis is in the professional game. I feel like they're both game to fight each other, but the money's got to be right. PBC's got to be putting up enough money for both of these fighters to be happy enough to take that risk. That's another thing that we don't talk about enough, you guys. A lot of these promoters, they have their promoter hat on, but, are they, making the fights that we want to see? Are they paying the fighters, they got to pay the fighters the right way, point blank period. They gotta pay these fighters, they gotta pay these fighters, yeah, man. I just feel like right now, man, Jaron Boots Ennis and Virgil Ortiz, I believe they could have fought as well. Because Virgil Ortiz was signed to Oscar De La Hoya, but it's Oscar De La Hoya, the promoters. The promoters, man. Stanionis is another one. The promoters. He's with Pro Bellum. And, Jaron Boots Ennis said, I would love to fight he said, I thought I was going to fight Stanionis for this fight. I thought this fight was going to be Stanionis. And, for whatever reason, they said they couldn't get an agreement done. And so now he's fighting the guy Cameron. And so, yeah, man, I just think Rashidi Ellis, he's fighting a guy that's like 24-1 with 23 big wins by way of knockout. The guy that Rashidi Ellis is fighting has like a 92% KO ratio. So, which is kind of crazy. I haven't looked at, the guys he's knocked out, or, is his record padded or not. But, from what I've seen in his resume, from what I've seen on his record, he's got a good record. 24-1, I believe, with 23 knockouts. So only 2 fights out of 25 fights. Only 2 fights out of 25 fights did not go the distance. Went the distance. That's a crazy number right there. And you've had 25 fights and only 2 fights went the distance that you've had. So you just been getting guys out of there. So that's the guy that Rashidi Ellis is fighting. So I can't wait to see how he's fighting. You know, I feel like he's in tougher than I feel like Jaron Boots Ennis is. You know, I looked at the bets on FanDuel, and FanDuel has Rashidi Ellis minus like 700, and FanDuel has FanDuel has Rashidi Ellis minus 700, and FanDuel has Jaron Boots Ennis minus 1200. So there's a big discrepancy right there with just that alone. They not only feel like, you know, Jaron Boots Ennis should win, he should win. Like, they really believe he should win. Like, and even I seen even in the Javante Davis, that's another thing too I wanted to talk about real quick on this live stream. You know, the Javante Tank Davis card, there's a lot of fighters on there. And I feel like there's a lot of gimme fights. Like, there's a lot of fights that's, you know, pretty much they know that they should win. You know what I mean? Like the Demetrius Andre fight, that should be a gimme. The Jaron Boots Ennis fight, that should be a gimme. That's just what these fights that I'm naming are the fighters that I'm naming on the A side, like Jaron Boots Ennis, Demetrius Andre, Brandon Lee. You know, just those three fighters alone have a minus 1,000 on them to win. So if you're picking them to win, it's gonna be a minus 1,000. You feel what I'm saying? So you're not getting good odds with any of those guys. They're supposed to win, and they're supposed to win big. If you put on I think it's the Rashidi Ellis fight, if you put that the guy he's facing, remember, he's facing a guy that's 24-1 with 23 knockouts. If you pick the guy to beat Rashidi Ellis, I think it's by knockout, or I might have picked regular, but I just, I put $100 in to see what I get back. If I'm not mistaken, I think it was 12. If you put $100 down, it's $12,000. I think Rashid. So yeah, man. Like I said, man, both guys, Rashidi Ellis. I'm gonna just wrap it up with this. Both guys, Rashidi Ellis and Jaron Boots Ennis. Both good fighters. I feel like Rashidi Ellis hasn't got enough credit yet because he hasn't been around enough. I feel like over there with Oscar De La Hoya, I never knew when Rashidi Ellis was fighting. I was trying to follow his career, but Golden Boy had him like where I didn't even know when he was fighting. I was like, they had him fighting on, like just undercards, and I don't even know if he did his own main event because he wasn't even in, it's crazy because Oscar De La Hoya signed to the Zone and stuff like that, and I don't even know if Rashidi Ellis fought on the Zone. So I haven't seen Rashidi Ellis fighting probably like two to 3 years. I don't know if he has some legal matters with Oscar De La Hoya or what, but he's back now. He's with the PBC, I believe, and Rashidi Ellis is ready to make some noise, man. I think he's ready. I think he's game and ready to make some noise, man. So yeah, man. Jaron Boots Ennis is already waiting for his title shot. Could we see this fight before the title shot, you guys? Could we see Rashidi Ellis versus Jaron Boots Ennis next if both of these guys can win their fight? So let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Please smash that like button, you guys, and subscribe. And until next time, you guys, peace. Let's go.